We're starting early, people. We're starting early. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Welcome back, Strongman Personal Finance. We got some exciting news in the market today. Opendoor stock has vertical lined. It's now a meme stock. It always kind of was. Tom Lee, our hero, our stock picking large cap tech / chip stock genius, thinks that Bitcoin is going to be $1 million in the next couple of years. We'll go over Verizon's earnings because it's a dividend stock. We all love dividends. And we're going to go check out the US dollar, which has been imploding. And that's actually a good thing for a certain type of investment that could potentially be denominated in foreign currencies like VXUS. A lot of exciting news today. So let's dive right in, my musty bussies. So before we even get into that, let's see what happened in the market today. What happened with stonks? Did they go up? Did they go down? Did they go sideways? Well, apparently QQQ is up 0.5% today. Oh my God. Wow. Still not beating VT this year. Still not beating VT this year. So large cap tech, which always outperforms, is up 9.7% year to date, up slightly today. I think we got big tech earnings later on this week, which I'll cover them all. VXUS. What do we got? Oh! We got a vertical line. A vertical line. When the USD gets weaker relative to other currencies, guess what? That's actually good because foreign dollars are translated into more, or foreign currency is translated into more USD. That's right. So you actually, international stocks do better when the dollar goes down. Same thing happened when the dollar was getting stronger relative to other currencies. It actually helped US stocks pro. It was actually a drag on international currency diversification. So we are now up 18.5% year to date for international stocks. Boring. Let's go see if we can find some clown stocks. So VT's up 0.33%. Bitcoin's down. Oh no, it's still $117,000 more than it should be. And basically every crypto that's a big deal is up except for Bitcoin today. We got TQQQ up. Tesla's down a little bit. I believe Tesla's earnings are Wednesday. I can't wait to cover those. Coinbase down. Hood down a little bit. HIMS down. Basically, all the little meme stocks are kind of down a little bit today. How unfortunate. Nvidia sold off today. We got Meta up. Amazon up. Apple up. Microsoft flat like your mom. And Google McDougal. Look at this. Googly McDougly is actually up a little bit. If I were to be a stock picker, I wouldn't bet against Google, okay? This is a cash printing machine, and I am a shill for Google because they pay me via YouTube. Google's kind of a tank, okay? Oh, but ChatGPT is going to destroy Google, though. Yeah, okay. So overall, green day in the market, and, we got bonds going up a little bit. That means yields have come down a little bit. Nothing extraordinarily crazy, except for Opendoor Technologies. So Opendoor is a piece of garbage. I'm pretty sure I covered this stock before, maybe about a month or two ago. But what this company does is it buys and it sells homes. It buys and it sells homes. Do you know what happens when home prices start to peak and they even start to trim down a little bit? The profits of companies like this collapse. You know who else is doing this? Oh, by the way, Meat Thruster. That's right, House Hack. He's buying, renovating, and selling homes to his mini funds. He's actually got a better business idea because it could actually be an infinite money glitch. But this is a crappy business model. Okay, they have to buy the homes. They have to borrow money to hold the homes in inventory. Right? So they're paying interest on the borrowed money that they're using to buy these homes from people. And they're having a hard time selling these homes. So they're having trouble with profitability. Let's go look. So, of course, the stock's up 42% today. Let's go look at the most recent financials to see how garbage this company is. So collapsing revenues. Okay, they're not churning homes. They just have homes sitting on the books. Year-over-year growth in revenue of negative 2.37%. Let's go look at the shares out. Oh, they're issuing shares to stay afloat. They have a very low gross margin. They're not making a lot of profit on their homes. an operating margin of negative 4.6% in the most recent quarter. They turned a profit, and from an operating standpoint, the last time they turned a profit was in 2021. Clown market. They're losing money. And I bet you higher rates are freaking killing them because they have to borrow money to buy homes. Profit margin's negative, and free cash flow is obviously negative, except for a couple quarters back in 2022. So this is a piece of garbage. You just have to hope that homes start selling again and that the prices keep going up, and that's how they'll make money. This thing's a freaking penny stock. Let's go look at the price action over the last 5 years. Oh, here we go. Okay. I bet you there's a bunch of people now claiming that they're geniuses because they bought Opendoor stock because it's up 42% today. Look at the 5-year chart. When you see a chart like this, that usually means there's something deeply wrong with this company, especially if it vertical lined during the clown market. So let's read about what happened. Let's hear the amazing news. Let's pause this stupid freaking advertisement here. Opendoor stock gains 42% in a wild day after doubling early Monday as volatility triggers trading halt. Opendoor technology stock continued its wild ride on Monday, rising 42% after a trading day that saw shares more than double. At its peak on Monday, Opendoor's intraday rally reached as much as 115%. 115%. That's more return than VT forever. So why would you buy VT when you could buy Opendoor? Yeah, you're stupid. Okay. So of course they did a trading halt at 3 p.m. Eastern. They halted it for 10 minutes, which is triggered when a stock share price moves too far and too quickly, depending on the per share value of the stock. I wonder who's pumping this. So let's see. Why is it even pumping? I don't know. I think it's just retail buyers. Like, is there any catalyst? Is there any catalyst to why this is freaking pumping? I have no idea why this is pumping. So, of course, it had a warning that it faced potential delisting. And it had a class action lawsuit. Okay? Opendoor is a freaking turd. It's a total freaking turd. Oh, it's up. It's up, bro. It's up. It's a meme. I mean, if you want to trade it on your stupid Robinhood app, go right ahead. But there's nothing behind this rally. There's nothing. The real estate market is in shambles. Home prices are very high and long-term rates are high. And guess what? If homes can't sell, they can't sell their homes either. And if they have a bunch of homes on inventory, they're paying all that interest because they had to borrow money to hold those homes. It's like basically a bridge loan. Total freaking nonsense garbage. But you know what? It's up more than VT year to date, so it's a good stock, right? Geniuses. All right, so now we're going to listen to Tom P., my hero. We're going to react to this video. Bitcoin could be worth over $1 million per coin in the next few years, says FundStrat's Tom Lee. You know Tom Lee is a clown. I know Tom Lee is a clown because he's very popular with YouTubers. It used to be Kathy Wood, you know, our hero. It used to be Kathy Wood that was lauded and worshipped by YouTubers, but she died off because all the ARK ETFs absolutely freaking collapsed. Okay. But now we have a replacement and his name is Tom P. Or excuse me, Tom Lee. So let's hear why we think Bitcoin is going to be worth $1 million per coin in the next few years. I think it's going to be worth $2 million.
Joining us now, Tom Lee, FundStrat Global Advisors, head of research. Probably not coming as a big surprise.
That man does not have good genetic stock. I'm just going to say that, okay? That is not an attractive man. He had to become famous to have a shot at smelling some you-know-what. He had to become ultra famous to have a woman not even be attracted to him, but pretend to be, okay? If you look like this, you need to become a FundStrat hero if you want to get some you-know-what.
Surprise to you, Tom. You've been saying similar things, but one of the things you're emphasizing today, the most hated V-shape bounce in history, or at least in your young, but getting older life.
Yes, that's right. I think many people
Yeah. He sounds so. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yes, I'm a bottom.
When April happened and we had Tariff Armageddon and the market went into a free fall, investors liquidated because they thought we were entering a recession. But, and as you guys have covered, like the market then staged a V-shaped recovery, which caught many people off guard because they wanted to have a chance to get in. They wanted the stock market to be like a K-shaped or flat line. Instead, it was a V-shaped bounce. And so.
Wow, what great analysis. Now, what did Strong Daddy do? I complained a lot because I thought what Trump was doing was stupid. I was proven right because Trump backed off very quickly, but he coped and said that he actually got victories. He did not. And the stock market recovered. But if you just buy and hold, you can survive volatility. I saw plenty of people that were heard about plenty of people that were liquidating their accounts and going to cash. Why? Why did you go to cash? You don't need cash unless you're a trader. And you're a trader in both definitions, a trader as a day trader and a trader to the Boglehead philosophy. If you're a long-term stockholder, you should not have sold. Okay? You should not have sold. But of course, people are watching morons like Tom P. and they're selling at the first sign of trouble. And, time the bottom and, sell the top again, bro. It's so easy. No, you buy and hold, reinvest dividends, bro.
So most investors are underexposed at the moment. And they're trying to look at headlines with a half-empty view. But as you guys know, earnings have actually been really resilient, and I think it tells a very good story.
No, Dow's hasn't been hitting. It has hit a new high, but it hasn't in the recent session. But S&P and NASDAQ continue to do pretty well. So there is also a perception, Tom, that valuations have returned to levels that have people worried. And you are citing an equity-weighted S&P multiple. Explain that. Of what? What's the equity-weighted multiple right now?
Yeah.
If you look at the what's it called, the CAPE ratio or the Shiller PE or whatever. Oh yeah, we're going back up. We're at valuations that we haven't seen since the .com bubble. Okay, now hopefully those valuations are justified because if corporate profits massively explode in the future and we have massive earnings growth, maybe the multiple's justified, or maybe we're in a massive euphoric market. It could be either one, or it could be a little bit of both. I don't know. But from a historical perspective, even from recent history, we're at pretty expensive multiples right now. So it is what it is. You just got to buy and hold is all I can say.
What we're saying is instead of someone saying, the MAG is making the market expensive, let's just take the average PE of the S&P of every stock. And it was around 17.6 times in 2019. Now we've had 6 what I call extinction-like events, COVID, the bullwhip supply chain effect, inflation surge, Fed fastest hikes, Trump, tariffs, and then, of course, U.S. bombing Iran.
6 of them, yeah, okay.
Yeah, all of them should have wiped out earnings, but the S&P earnings have grown, and yet the equal weight...
Why would Iran have wiped out earnings? A huge chunk of the S&P's profits come from large tech. They're like globally diversified, highly profitable tech corporations. I fail to see how Meta's profits would have significantly decreased if we dropped some bunker busters on Iran. Okay? Extinction events, that's a little dramatic there.
PE is now 16 times. So the market's gotten cheaper in the last 6 years, despite proving they can grow earnings through 6 extinction level events.
The Mag 7, though, there was a journal article that says there's a real split between the Mag 7, those that are really doing well from AI and those that aren't. And if you look at the stock performances, I think Apple's down something like 16 or 18% over the last year, while you have Microsoft and others that have really taken off. Do you think the Mag 7 stays together?
Oh, I see Tesla's in the green today. Interesting. Why is Tesla taking off? What's their AI? Do they have AI? Oh, they have Optimus. Yeah, Optimus. Sure. That's a cover for a collapsing company.
Or do we need a new terminology, a new grouping for leadership in the markets?
Yeah. To me, the Mag 7 have become household names. Apple is Apple, and Google is Google, and we know the product and we know the stock. And I think they have really established themselves as consumer and business companies. And for me, Apple...
the stock. I've heard of Google, therefore I should buy it. Great logic, Tom P.
Has been sort of quietly ready to pounce on AI, but I don't think they need to pay up for any of these models. So I think Apple is going to surprise people.
That's interesting. That's a contrarian viewpoint. People think Apple either is too far behind or just isn't going to be able to.
Yeah.
I honestly don't understand Apple. I mean, like, I get it. I have an iPhone. It's a huge company and they make mega profits, but they've kind of like peaked out in a lot of metrics for a long time. And I wouldn't say they're super innovative. Like, what's their AI? Some stupid app on their phone? How much more can they really grow revenues? I don't know. I can see it with other companies. I just don't see it with Apple. I'm not quite understanding. I almost feel that people are just buying it because it's Apple, bro. I mean, I'm sure it'll surprise me, like it always does. But I've never understood the massive bull case behind Apple and why it's at such a crazy valuation. Never understood it.
Get the talented ones. It's losing talent, not getting.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't launch an iPhone until 2007, and mobile phones had been around for 15 years. But when they did enter that market, they completely transformed the marketplace. So to me, I think when they want to play big in AI, and when they do in that moment, I think they will change the game.
Well, so the question, though, is do you
Oh, yeah, they launched the iPhone 15 years ago. Therefore, in 2025, they're going to change the AI market too. Yeah, it makes sense.
think that historically they've been able to do that because it's been a hardware game largely and a bit of software. I don't want to say the software is not a huge part of it. But the question is whether you think the LLMs have become so advanced that to get there, you actually either have to buy somebody else to do it or you can actually catch up. I mean, that's the fundamental question underneath all of this.
Yeah, and it's also possible that LLMs all get so good that they are about the same.
Right.
And then Apple
gets commoditized.
Correct. And so then Apple comes in and says, look, we have our safety. Look, we're known for our safety rails, protecting your privacy, optimizing what you want to do, make your life better. And they might come out with
protecting our privacy. They're tracking everything we do. What are you talking about protecting my privacy?
the version that really, makes heads spin. So I think that I'm not ruling out Apple just because they're a little late.
What do you make, by the way? There's some speculation over the weekend, some reports about a
Okay, so he's basically he's shilling a large cap tech stock. Wow, man, I should put his name in all of my video titles.
the first real Apple foldable phone this fall. Would you buy a foldable phone?
Yeah, I mean,
Big market in China, by the way. People in China seem to love foldable phones.
I think what I found is
China, no, sell China. Ah!
when you offer someone a bigger screen size, you're pushing them more towards computing and something much higher capability. And with AI, we might want some of that augmented kind of reality. So maybe the time is right for, a foldable phone. And again,
I'm sorry, I just went. We got a minute.
What do we need a foldable phone for? I remember I had a foldable phone. Did I ever have a foldable phone? I think I maybe had one. Why do we need foldable phones? So it saves more room in your pocket? I mean, I guess it's like a retro thing. I'm not sure what the appeal of a foldable phone is. Okay, can I fold it like 1,000 times so it's like a nanometer wide and then I can put it in my pocket and then break it on accident?
Minute left after last week in the Genius Act, and you suddenly are. I don't know whether I look at you as Mr. Equity Guru or Crypto Guru. Are you able to do both? You have been. You're going to continue this?
Yes.
Equity guru or crypto guru? No, the proper word is clown. Okay? He's an equity guru because he's buying stocks that are all the rave. Oh, large tech and chips. Wow, I've never heard of large tech or chips before. I wonder if they're on the top of my ETF already. Oh, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Tesla. I pump all the popular stuff. You know what else is popular? Bitcoin. He loves cryptocurrency. How does that make you a guru? Because you pump the trend? Just pump the trend, brah.
Fundstrat clients know my goal is to find them good ideas and make them money. And now I want to do that with shareholders. I'm dedicated to delivering a great return for anyone who invests in any of our ideas, including what.
No, do not invest with Fundstrat, if you even can. I know he's got an ETF, the Granny ETF, I think it's called. That's an interesting name for an ETF, okay? That's probably all you can get in bed. But why would you invest with this guy, okay? He pumps Bitcoin in large tech. That's not revolutionary. It's at the top of every total market ETF. Go look at VT. Go look at VTI. Tech, large cap tech's the biggest freaking holdings. You don't need fun splat.
Whether it was our granny shots, which is outperforming year to date and almost 1.9 billion of AUM after 8 months. And now with BitMine, I am dedicated.
He's outperforming year to date. Oh my God.
To really making this one of the best performing stocks.
People need to, we don't have time to go into exactly how that works, but
the heck is BitMine? Do I need to look at what is that?
Here we are 120 basically on Bitcoin, which you used to say at 70, and you know that was a 60% move or something that you were forecasting as within the next couple of months or at least this year. Here we are now, what, 150?
I think the 200 to 250,000 for Bitcoin still makes sense because that would still only value it at 25% of the size of the gold market.
Okay.
So I think digital gold.
Yeah, everything's relative to gold. I mean, my ball hair is going to be worth $1 trillion because I measure my ball hair relative to gold. That's a stupid comparison. Okay, you can compare gold to anything. It doesn't mean that your worthless trash is going to be worth some approximation of what gold is. Poopy shark fart coin, is that going to be go up 1,000% because of its current relative price to gold? That's not a comparison at all. That's a stupid comparison. This guy is on CNBC shilling, and he's got this stupid clown logic.
Gold means Bitcoin should be worth over $1 million per Bitcoin, and it could happen in the next few years. But maybe pricing 25% of that, especially with Genius Act, makes sense.
Are you going to, I don't know, start making comments and recommendations about stablecoins?
Yes. I mean, in a sense, stablecoins are the ChatGPT moment for crypto because businesses like it and consumers are adopting it. And now we see JP Morgan and Citi and getting into the stablecoin market, and the Genius Act, of course.
How would you play that?
Yes, let's intermingle stable coins, which may or may not be backed by treasuries, into everything. What could possibly go wrong integrating cryptocurrency across our entire financial system? Absolutely nothing, okay? And if we do have a crisis in the future, they're just going to bail out the crypto shills. They'll do it. I don't think it's a good idea to intermingle all this trash in our financial system. The last crash with FTX, it was still kind of outside the system. You know, crypto was, it's getting the ball rolling. It was popular a little bit, right? Everybody got cooked when crypto collapsed. And now just a few years later, let's intermingle this nonsense with everything. Let's have stable coins in every company's balance sheet. Totally backed by treasuries, bro.
Well, Circle is one way because it is, a standout company. They've done really well. But Ethereum is really the way to play stablecoins because the majority of stablecoins are created on Ethereum. It's over.
Oh my God, Circle. I from what I remember from Circle, they just issue stablecoins and they collect the interest from the treasuries that they hold in reserve. It's a bond fund, basically. Wow. I'll just go buy SGov, okay? I don't need Circle stock. Well, I mean, the bull thesis is there's going to be so many more stable coins that their profits are going to explode because they're going to have all these short-term treasuries backing the stable coins, supposedly. And therefore, they're going to print tendies in the future. I mean, maybe for the short term, but if there's ever a contraction in stable coins or the crypto market goes to crap, this thing could collapse, okay? I'm not putting any money in this garbage unless it's in VT.
30% of its network fees. And if Scott Besant's right in it, he says now it's close to a $4 trillion market. That's exponential growth for Ethereum.
Ether has taken off. It was down at 1,700 or something like a month ago or 2 months
yes.
ago. Now it's back almost, 36 or something?
That's right. And I know Mark Newton, our head of technicals, thinks it's 5,000 is doable near term, but if you value it similar to Circle, it's more between 10 and 20,000.
Bitcoin is gold. Ethereum is silver. So what's the market cap of silver and what's the market cap of Ethereum? Okay, well, I think Ethereum is going to be here because because Ethereum silver and the market cap of silver is this, and they're going to approximate it one day. Okay, well, what's platinum? Poopy shark fart coin? It's so stupid.
You give a rat's patootie about August 1st? Does anything change with that for you?
A
new month.
Yes.
That's your answer? Well, it's a new month. Yeah.
I mean, I think that on a half full, the tariffs are really good for the budget. And companies are managing through these now, and they're pretty significant now. And it's not inflation. They're not talking about it as inflation. So that's the half full. But you're right. Maybe August 1st gets
Yeah.
pushed again, and that would also be positive.
Wow. So, what do you guys think about the bull thesis for Bitcoin? They're just comparing it to gold. Why are they comparing it to gold? Because they want you to believe it has a correlation to gold. It's digital gold. No, it's not. Any crypto could be digital gold. You know why? Because you can just say it is. But is it really? No, it's not. It's just a cryptocurrency. The only reason Bitcoin has gone up is because it's winning the marketing war. It's a marketing war. You start a crypto. You shill it. You build an army of shills. It's like a pyramid scheme. And the shills convince the sub-shills to convince the sub-shills and to convince the sub-shills to buy. That's all Bitcoin is. That's all it was, is, and ever will be. It is a massive galactic pump and dump. And now we're integrating stable coins into everything. We're putting crypto across our entire economy. Scam garbage. Total freaking nonsense. Like, oh my God. Okay, so apparently Verizon went up today. Now, this company, what's the dividend? Let's go look at Verizon. Verizon. Okay, so it's got a 6.38% dividend yield. And it's got a price target of plus 11.63%. Are they even growing dividends? Okay, there should be a chart down here. Wow, they actually are growing dividends. Look at that. It's like a steady climb to the top. Okay, but you can see the dividend growth rate is going down and down and down and down and down and down. So the dividends are going up, but it's like at some point that's got to taper off, I imagine. Let me go look at the earnings. Let me go look at like the historical earnings over time. So free cash flow per share basically flatlined. Okay. Did they cut that's maybe the half year. Let's see if the earnings are even growing. It's earnings per share. Yeah, here's the thing, guys. If your earnings per share aren't growing over time, your dividend, you can't grow your dividend perpetually unless, well, you can't. It's impossible. The dividend comes from earnings, from profits. The company makes a profit, it distributes it. So if you're looking at Verizon, you're saying, oh, look at the dividend growth. You also have to look at the earnings growth. The earnings growth is all that matters. Verizon, so it's up. How much is it up? It's up 4% today. Let's see what it's done over time. Now, obviously, it's got a dividend yield, so the return is at negative 23% over his total return. Okay, but I would if you bought this because it has a dividend, you're not outperforming the total market, not by a freaking long shot. Oh, but it's got a low PE, bro. Let's go look at the debt. What's the debt on this freaking thing? Okay, I remember Verizon had an insane amount of debt. So they have total assets of $383 billion. And they have long-term liabilities of $278. So their long-term assets, let's see. Their long-term assets are $344 billion, right? And more than half of or roughly half of their long-term assets are intangibles and goodwill. So this company is actually underwater from an equity standpoint, from a tangible book value standpoint. They have a lot of debt. Look at how much debt they have, $123 billion. I mean, it seems like they're paying it off, and that's a lot of debt, okay? And then they have long-term deferred tax liabilities. I wonder if that's going to decrease with the tax cuts. I don't know. But this is not a growing company, okay? Their earnings are not really growing that much. So I don't get the hype. The only thing that is good about Verizon is the dividend yield. But if your earnings per share are not really growing that much, and your free cash flow isn't growing that much, how are they going to be able to just keep growing that dividend in perpetuity? They're not going to be able to. Okay, the earnings is what matters. The dividend is freaking useless. Do I need to look at this? Like, what's going on? Did they raise guidance or something? Look at that. Total revenue growth, 5.2%, barely beating inflation. Total wireless service revenue up 2.2%. Okay, cash flow from operations up. How much did their cash flow from operations grow? 1%. Yeah, I'm sure that dividend growth is sustainable, bro. And then their capital expenditures dropped a little bit. Yeah, this is a piece of garbage. Like, I would not touch Verizon. The only people that are touching Verizon are dividend clowns. So what do? Did they even raise guidance? Okay, so their guidance, they didn't change revenue growth guidance. So their revenue growth guidance is 2 to 2.8%. That's basically inflation. Adjusted EBITDA growth, they slightly raised the bottom of the guidance. Adjusted EPS growth, they raised the bottom by 1%. No change in capital expenditures, and an okay increase in free cash flow. But wow, man, you're gonna 10x with Verizon, bro. I don't get it. Okay, so the next thing I want to cover is the U.S. dollar index. So the DXY, it's the dollar versus a basket of currencies. And the basket it compares to is the euro, the yen, the pound sterling, the Canadian dollar, the Swedish krona, and the Swiss franc. So if the companies that you own, like in VT, for example, are not currency hedged, you're basically earning profits from those companies in the local currency. And if you translate the profits in those currencies back to USD, you're actually getting more dollars for that one unit of currency. So a weakening dollar is actually a good thing for international stocks. Okay, so for a long time, the dollar was going ballistic. Basically everybody runs to the dollar when there's chaos, right? Let's go look at the 5-year. So we saw from like 2021, and then, it basically peaked in October of 2022. The dollar was very strong relative to these other basket of currencies. And that actually hurt international stocks because you're getting fewer dollars from a fixed unit of currency. But now with Trumpy poo, and this is what he wants a weaker dollar because of trade. Basically, if you have a weaker currency, people are more incentivized to buy stuff from your nation, and that increases exports. Okay, relatively. That increases exports. So Trumpy wants a weaker dollar, but if you're just unhedged, or if you're hedged and you're all in USD and you want to pay the cost of hedging, I don't think it's a good thing. This is the benefit of currency diversification. It goes both ways. Okay, if the dollar gets strong, that's going to hurt international returns. If the dollar weakens, it actually helps international returns. That's a big reason why VXUS, that's a big chunk of the reason why VXUS has outperformed US stocks year to date. We all know VXUS is garbage, okay? But I mean, look at this. Year to date, up 18.5%, and a good chunk of that is currency. Okay? So I'm just trying to shill I like international. Okay, I'm very happy that I'm diversified. That's why VT is actually, I think VT has beat VT's definitely beat US stocks, bro, this year. I mean, that's a good return. 10.44%. Nothing to shake a stick at. Okay, that doesn't even include dividends. So the DXY, the dollar versus a basket of currencies, it's definitely sinking. Now, I don't know when this bottoms out or when this reverts, but you can't really time it, in my opinion. But that's been the trend, and that's been boosting international stocks. And then we'll go look at treasury yields. So treasury yields are still freaking high. Okay, they went down a little bit today. Whenever you see TLT and BND going up, that usually means yields have come down a little bit that day. But yields are still freaking high. Okay, let's go look at TLT. I mean, this thing got absolutely crushed. The only reason you would buy this is if you really thought there'd be this huge reversal in rates, in longer term rates. So yeah, this thing could potentially fly if that's the case, but you're going to have balls of steel to hold this thing. I mean, you could see what happens when rates drop. When rates drop, you could see a huge increase. I mean, we've been on a massive bull market in long-term bonds up until, roughly 2020, because historically rates have been coming down and down and down and down and down and down and down. So longer dated bonds have had great returns because of the drop in rates over time, pushing up the price of the bonds. But you also get down cycles when rates go down. And if we get back into inflation, or if yields start to go crazy, and you think yields couldn't go higher, they can. Anything can happen. So if you think you're buying the bottom of TLT and then the 30-year goes to 6%, you're going to get clapped even more. It's hovering around 5%. I don't get why you would touch TLT, personally, unless you're like trading. Not a big fan. So that's the news today. Oh my God, Opendoor. It's a meme stock now. This thing's a piece of garbage. Okay, Opendoor is trash. Hot trash. I don't care if it went up. I don't want to hear you bragging. Oh, it went up. It beat VT today. Huh? This company has a bunch of houses they can barely sell on their books, and they're paying huge interest to keep them on their books. And I don't know when the housing market's going to correct itself. I mean, I have no idea. And rates, I don't think mortgages are coming down. I don't think they are, at least for a good while. So Verizon's also a piece of trash. It's got way too much debt, and it's not growing earnings at all, barely. The only thing people like about Verizon is the dividend. Okay, but I don't see the dividend growth being sustainable if they're not growing their earnings commensurate with the dividends. It's impossible because dividends come from earnings. And I'm also happy to be diversified with international stocks because the DXY keeps selling off. What was the all-time low of DXY? Let's see, or at least when this chart is here, 72. Oh, dude, if DXY went down to 72, woo, international would print, baby, printing tendies, woo! All right, let's do some comments here. All right, thank you for tuning in, everybody. This is practice for market open and market close streams. I'm practicing. I'm getting my jam. I bet my whole 100% Misty portfolio, that's strongman. That's true. I was taking a big poopy, and now I'm done. Took a massive foo hat. You must be popular with the lady boys. I'm popular with every gender. Same, but with SPY puts and power hour. Don't lie. You love Google because of the dividend. Yeah, you know what? I never considered Google stock until they started paying a dividend. I was only in Verizon because they have a high dividend yield. Why are you giving everything money a break? Because they're lame. They're just so lame. What am I going to talk about, man? Oh, Paul said something else stupid. Wow. Paul sold another NVIDIA call, got it annihilated. Paul's a fraud, okay? Paul has massively underperformed the total market. Paul has massively underperformed the total market. His lifetime total returns are far less than if you had just bought a total market index. Fact. Prove me wrong, Paul. That's why he's famous on YouTube. I need to start busting out my calculator, start selling it. Sell everything. Sell. And yes, if you haven't noticed, I'm only doing member chats, okay? If you wanted me to answer your freaking chats, you're going to join the membership. Give me your freaking money. It's called momentum trading. The music is still playing. It seems like Tom Lee's voice irritates. It's very soy. It's very soy. He is not of good genetic stock, okay? He's a good grifter, but he is not of good genetic stock. And yes, this I bet this happens in every bubble. Guys jump on the bandwagon. Oh, what's the trend? AI and tech. AI and tech are good. Bye. What's also popular? Crypto. Oh, I'm bullish on crypto too. Buy it. I'm not. I'm a freaking man, and I have beliefs, strong beliefs. And one of those beliefs is crypto is fundamentally worthless garbage. And how dare our government allow that nonsense to be fully integrated in our financial system? This does not end well. You do not add cryptocurrency to the bedrock of our society. That is disgusting. Have we all forgotten FTX? Have we all forgotten the collapse of all these disgusting crypto exchanges? Apparently we have. But now crypto's good because it went up a lot. And everybody's capitulating. Everybody's getting into crypto now because it went up a lot. That's why people buy stuff. I have figured this out a long time ago. If it goes up a lot, people will buy it. And they will think they're geniuses if it goes up more because of momentum. It's all momentum. Momentum can work for a little bit until it doesn't. Genius act sounds really smart. Yeah, usually when it's named something, the actual act is the exact opposite. Like the actual true meaning of the act is the exact opposite. So that's a great name for crypto. Imagine comparing gold to some computer coins. Dude, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Something that banks and countries stock in bunkers, but they give the Amerifats digital coins. And what is the silver? It's got to be Ethereum, right? They probably say Ethereum is silver. Okay, even if it was digital gold and silver, they're digital shiny rocks. They don't produce anything. If you took a share or an ounce of gold and you put it in a safe, and then 1,000 years in the future, somebody opened that safe, you know what they would have? They would have one gold coin. 1 ounce of gold. It produces nothing. If you put a share of VT in a safe and then you open that safe again, yeah, it would probably be, well, it'd be more than one share. It's probably because of stock splits. But you would actually be a partial owner of thousands of companies that are way more valuable and profitable in the future. So I would rather have a share of VT in a safe than a shiny rock. And think about people that have found stock certificates, like their grandma bought stock, right? Your grandma bought 1 share of Coke, put it in a safe, and then they open the safe, 30 years later, 50 years later, and now after all the splits, it's now 50 shares of Coke. It's like, that's like, gold is not a good investment. It's something to trade. It's a shiny rock. That's all it is. Strawman, I've never heard you talk about REITs as an investment. Like, I just don't see why you would buy them. I mean, okay, they have a dividend. It's real estate. They're in VT. Like, why do I have to buy them separately? I don't need to at all. Okay? I don't see the purpose of buying REITs individually. But if I had to choose between a REIT and a rental property, I'd take the REIT any day because I don't have to do anything and I get paid. Why complicate investing? It's so simple to invest in Shada once a month, collect dividends, and not care what the market is doing. Well, if there's a choice between Shada and Verizon, you should definitely take Shada, not financial advice. Stop it, strong. I am a hero. Look, you got to join my membership if you want me to answer your comments. Jiffy, why? Okay, are we talking about Jiffy Tube? This guy is constantly commenting on my channel. He's addicted to daddy. He loves me. I joined the membership on a promise of future OnlyFans. Yeah, the first 5 members get all the good shots. You don't watch him, but you are here live. Oh, he's a clown. We'll let him post, though. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I'm kind of practicing this whole market open, market close thing because when I'm an unemployed brokey, I'm going to be doing a lot of these, and it's going to be fun. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Consider joining the membership if you want exclusive content, priority responses to comments, and you guys have a wonderful day.